All right, let's get to the top of the agenda. Zach Merritt's future has now reached flashpoint. No sooner had Essendon's board resolved under no circumstances to trade its captain than it was revealed that Merritt had met with bitter rival Hawthorn yesterday. Brad Scott about to join us. Zach, the broader conversation around you, which has been had in the industry at the moment, where we casually move players wherever we feel they should go, is go and be happy somewhere else. Are you aware of that conversation?
Yeah, I don't live under a rock. I'm certainly aware of that.
So they've had to sell the vision to Zach Merritt, who's been mentioned again. 12 months earlier, they had to sit down with him and say, Zach, you're our captain, please stay, we're going to come well. They've had to do it again.
Zach Merrett, the Essendon captain, met with Hawthorn on Tuesday night as he explores a way out of the club.
You've been linked to Zach Merritt. Any truth to that? I'm not sure. You have to talk to the list management guys about that, but, I mean, I hope that they are working behind the scenes on improving our list. That's what their job is, and I hope they're going about that. Improving our list is what every club's doing.
I work with Tim Watson, one of the all-time greats. Couldn't even contemplate losing Zach Merritt.
He has now got the power to close it all down once and for all.
If I'm Zach, I'd say move. Because if you thought about it this often for this long and you feel like it's not going to happen, well, then you've got to have the strength of your convictions. You've got to move.
I just can't believe in a world where they can let the best player, captain, go.
Classy stuff from the skipper.
You just absolutely unequivocally putting that to bed and saying that's just made up, that stuff.
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm contracted for 2 more years. I'm the captain of the footy club.
I want you to stay.
I've got so much trust in Brad and what he's doing, and I really want to see that through. It's a bit longer than I probably would hopefully have liked when I signed 4 years ago, but I think it's pretty clear now that these kids are coming through and I want to taste that ultimate success with the footy club.
Oh, now tell me now, tell me now, tell me now.
This has played out at this desk at various stages this year, and so it is tonight. Brad Scott, welcome.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Gary.
Were you blindsided by Zach's meeting with Hawthorn?
Yeah, that was a surprise to me. I mean, I speak to Zach daily. He was over at my house a couple of days ago having dinner, so I'm well aware of Zach's position in terms of, you know, he's, as it's in the run in there, he talked about our young talent, and he's very excited about the young talent on our list and has got full confidence in them. But, you know, he's as hungry for success as any player that I've ever encountered, and, you know, he's a man in a rush. He's 29. You know, he's concerned that will the young talent mature enough in time for him to enjoy that success. But the reality is that this time last year, we recommitted to Zach. We felt he was underpaid for someone who was performing at such a high level. So for the second time in 3 years, we changed his remuneration to reflect his brilliant performance and his terrific leadership. So we committed to him. You know, he committed to us, and like our CEO who moved into state committed to the club, I came and made a commitment to the club. I intend to see my commitment through, and I expect our captain to do the same.
Has he cheated on you in a footy sense, taking that meeting yesterday?
Look, I think we've all got to accept that the old school, you know, the old-timers, Gary, we probably have a problem with it, and, you know, this is the second club captain Sam Mitchell's met with in 1 year. The difference is our club captain is contracted for another 2 years. So I think you've got to accept that players are going to do this, and now coaches are doing it. But I think that the reality is that Zach's a process-driven guy. He's got a checklist, he'll go through his process, and he likes to come to his own conclusions. So in a way, this is Zach just doing his due diligence, but, you know, it feels like we've done our due diligence, you know, 2 out of the last 3 years. And, you know, we have a really clear vision. It's been a really challenging year for a number of reasons. You know, but, you know, we've all made a commitment. And the thing about a commitment is that the reward at the end of it is not guaranteed. But the thing I've learned about success is that it's fantastic when you get it, but it's the journey and the effort and the blood, sweat and tears that you put in to the process to get the success that's the reward, not the outcome. It's not the premiership medal or the winning finals. It's the work that you put in with other people, the commitment you make to people. That's the reward. You know, the outcome is just reward for the effort.
If he comes to you and says he doesn't believe in your vision anymore and he wants to go and chase it elsewhere, will you entertain trading him?
Well, the reality is it's his vision as well. I mean, he is he's invested in our club and he's been, kept right up to speed with the vision. And it's been a challenging year. I mean, we started the year at 6-4. I mean, we had even challenges at that stage, but then, the injury crisis has been well documented throughout the year. So, but again, I can't stress enough that, I love this bloke. Like, I think he's an incredible player. I've rarely seen anyone like him, and our own playing group almost make fun of me for constantly, referring to Zach and his on-field deeds. And his will to win is unbelievable. And if he does have a chink in his armour, it's that will to win and that desperation for success. He sometimes wears his heart on his sleeve and he shows that frustration. But if that's the biggest chink that he's got, it's not the worst one.
But if he says he wants out, will you hold him against his will?
No, well, our club, he's contracted captain. So our club's position is that we will not be trading him under any circumstances.
Can he still be a captain if he requests a trade? Can he still lead your football club, share your vision? I'm watching you. You feel and look like you're really, personally hurt by this?
Well, it's not about me personally. It's about our club. I feel like I talk to our supporters, I talk to our members, and at the end of all of those conversations, I say the same thing to all of our supporters. I say, stick with us. And almost to a man or woman, they say, through thick and thin, I'm rusted on. They've been through some really difficult times, and the real carrot for me to come to Essendon was to see this through. So, it has been a challenge, but again, I understand Zach. I love Zach, and he's just so desperate for success that he wears his heart on his sleeve and he goes through these moments. But our club's position is he's our captain. He's contracted for 2 years. We've adjusted his contract to reflect his performance, and we expect him to see it through.
It does.
Can he be captain though?
The compromise
of course he can be captain, because the thing about no one's perfect, and I talk about there are a lot of players that I think are geniuses, but there are a lot of flawed geniuses too. No one's perfect, and I don't think anyone's captaincy is perfect. Anyone's coaching ability is perfect. It's a learning process, and so of course he can be captain. But will it be a challenge based on this situation? Absolutely, it will be. But I've seen him overcome bigger challenges than this.
I'm going to push you on it, because effectively you could be holding him against his will. You're going to say, no, you stayed, you're contracted. So the cut and dry, black and white, you're holding the player against his will. I've got to say, I'm finding it hard for him then to be a leader of your footy club.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. He made a commitment. Players and a lot of agents are running at the moment with just sign long-term contracts, and if you want to move, we'll move you. Well, that's not the world I live in. The world I live in is you make a commitment and you see it through.
Are you disappointed that it's got to this in him? I know you love him. You say you love him. The players say you love him to the point where it's embarrassing. Yet he still is exploring. Does that disappoint you?
Yeah, well, I know it's probably too... It's not a great analogy because, your family's your family, but, your players are they feel like surrogate family, and in a way, I treat them like I treat my kids, and my kids make mistakes all the time. I'm still their father, and I'm still his coach, and my job is to lead the club, and to have Zach by my side helping us through this difficult time is really important.
Is what Sam Mitchell's doing fair, reasonable?
Oh well,
has it angered you?
Well, I think the world's changing. There'd be a time and a place in which I'd be, pretty disappointed. But the reality is now the gloves are off and all's fair in love and war, and that's the path they want to go down. Then we'll play at that game too.
So have you spoken to Zach today?
Not today, but I spoke to him yesterday. I speak to him almost every day.
So, but in the aftermath of this, is the implication is he's made a mistake. But what if he doesn't see it that way? When you talk to him next, what if he said, "I'm eyes wide open here, and I'm done. I've got no energy left for it, Brad"?
The board's position is that he's our contracted captain. He made a commitment, and I support that position.
Your relationship with your senior players, so if Brad wants out, if Draper wants to change, if Ridley wants out, is that in question now? Do you sit there and look at that or not?
No, for a start, I mean, my relationship with Zach is very good. So, and he's spoken publicly to that. So, regardless of what happens, that will never change. Draper, I think, is a completely different situation. For a start, he's an uncontracted free agent who, over the last 10 years, has had an ACL, a PCL, chronic groin hip problems, now a ruptured Achilles. You know, he's never played more than 15 games in any single season. I don't think we can begrudge him for being mentally and physically exhausted and feeling like he needs, in his words, a fresh start. And so the fact that he's waited until September to make a decision that he was so torn to make talks to that it wasn't easy, that he didn't just want out. He was, as I said, mentally and physically exhausted and in a difficult spot, and he's made a decision that the competition now supports in terms of free agency.
And Ridley and Laverde and those players?
Yeah, Ridley, a lot of players I was excited to coach when I came to Essendon. Jordan was one of those. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to do that. I mean, not only has he not played, he hasn't trained. So, we have made significant changes to our high-performance team. The appointment of Matt Innes is a coup for us. As someone that we hold in extremely high regard. We've made another appointment in our high-performance area, so we've revamped that space. And again, I would expect someone of Jordan Ridley's talent and capability to be frustrated with the last couple of years. But again, we went back, felt he was under-remunerated for the level of capability and talent that he has, and we recontracted him for another 4 years. So we made the commitment to him, and he'll be seeing out his 4 years with us.
How significantly has the list strategy changed from, so you took the job in September 2022 to where we sit here now?
I think it always changes and evolves. I mean, there's always a plan. Every club's got a plan, but it changes based on acquisitions, players who go, players who are in form, all of those things. But I think I have a bias to want to build, and our position in the draft this year reflects that. We've got, at this stage, 4 picks inside 25. So, our position is that we're already, I think, one of the youngest and most inexperienced lists in the competition, which again speaks to Zach. He loves the talent, but is it going to get there quickly enough for him? And I think that's a valid question for him. But the simple answer is, Jared, it hasn't changed that much. It's evolved a little bit, but clearly we need to keep investing in elite talent. And the only way you can, or the easiest way to bring in elite talent is through the draft, and that's what we're targeting.
So you're going to be closer to ground zero in year 4, though, than you would have forecast, aren't you? Like, this is the moment of gathering the elite talent out of the draft, and that's a long road to hoe.
Yeah, and it's a very difficult road too. But again, I was under no illusion as to the challenge that this job presented, and I've never been more up for it. And if you look at this year's been really difficult with injuries, but the silver lining to the injuries has been the exposure of young players that are going to be very good players for Essendon for a long period of time. So yes, it'll be a challenge for us, but we started the year 6 and 4. I've got enormous faith in the players on our list, and we'll keep investing and building it. And as I said at the start, the thing about success is it's the effort you put into it and that reward for effort that gives you the satisfaction, not just the outcome.
Is there any part of this that can turbocharge? You want to build, you go back to the draft, decisions that you make here can give you an even bigger hand in this draft?
Yeah, I mean, again, these things are whole of club decisions. But Zach aside, Jordan's contracted. He will not be traded under any circumstances. But I mean, the reality is Sam's exercised his free agency rights, so there'll be compensation for that. So, yeah, it certainly does add to what's already 4 picks inside 25.
Do you, the Essendon faithful, they'd all be watching and listening. So what is the overwhelming message or underlying message you want to leave them with tonight? They would still be sitting here going, I know it, I love that you fronted up and I love that you're answering the questions, but the bottom line is the question mark remains over Zach Merrett, clearly our best player.
Yeah, and I think the reasons for Zach going through this process is that he's so hungry for success, and his question is, will this elite young talent mature in time for him to be part of it? But that leading's difficult. Coaching's difficult. Being a captain and accepting that responsibility is difficult. But the thing that I've observed at Essendon, and our club's been through some really difficult times, they keep fronting up. They're frustrated, bordering on angry, but they stick with us. And I think it's other clubs are jealous of Essendon supporters because what they've been through, other clubs might capitulate. Our club will still be here in another 150 years. And they'll stick with us and they'll see through the vision, and we'll go through some short-term difficulties, but it'll make it all worthwhile in the end.
Do you need Zach to state publicly and to look you in the eye and say, I'll be with you come October?
Yeah, well, I think this will play out all in time. I mean, I'd also add that Zach Merrett was exhausted by the end of the year. I mean, he broke his hand, could have easily said there's no point coming back. He played under duress. He is, in so many ways, such an incredible on-field leader. He needs a break. He needs a rest, and I don't begrudge him spending some time with his family and letting me do the talking at the moment.
Brad, we appreciate you fronting up.
Yep.
Great.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks.